UCLA football is a mess right now and just fired their head coach after going 5-10 through his first 15 games. A coach that was thrown into the fire after a rushed coaching search. UCLA was embarrassed this weekend, losing to New Mexico 35-10 and could easily go 0-12 this year with a brutal Big Ten season. Whoever takes this job is going to have a major rebuild on their hands. Let's take a look at 10 possible candidates. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know who you want to see UCLA hire as their next head coach in the comment section below. Deshaun Foster was basically set up to fail after being named head coach following the departure of Chip Kelly. Foster played for UCLA before spending time with the Carolina Panthers and San Francisco 49ers in the NFL. He returned to UCLA as a student assistant before becoming a grad assistant. In 2016, he was named Texas Tech's running backs coach, returned to UCLA in the same role in 2017. He was a beloved figure by the UCLA fan base and was thrown into the fire as head coach following Chip Kelly's departure to become the offense coordinator at Ohio State. UCLA was coming off some decent seasons, with the Bruins joining the Big Ten in 2024. The roster did not seem ready. Toss in a first-year head coach, and you had a disaster on your hands. Things got off to a shaky start with the famous Big Ten Media Days press conference.
Football-wise, we're just excited. I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA. It's us and USC. I'm just basically excited, really. That's it.
As CBS Sports wrote, it's likely saved them money in the short term, but now has set the program back. UCLA's athletic department is in shambles financially, and that is why they made them move to the Big Ten for the bigger television revenue check. Last year they went 5-7 and 3-6 in conference play. It was a lot better than a lot of people thought they were going to do. They then landed Nico Iamaleava from Tennessee in the transfer portal. Did that lead to a breakthrough? The simple answer was no. They were blown out by Utah 43-10 in the season opener, lost to UNLV 30-23, and were blown out by New Mexico 35-10 at home. They are now staring down the barrel of a possible 0-12 season and chose to fire Foster early on. They knew they messed up and rushed the move, as they said in a statement this weekend. He was named to this role at a challenging time of the year, on the cusp of a move to the new conference, and embraced it, putting his heart into moving the program forward. His legacy and love for the university are firmly established. Now the transfer portal window opens, and players can choose to redshirt. Who can fix this disaster? Let's talk about a few candidates. D'Anton Lynn appears to be the early leading candidate when it comes to the UCLA job opening, according to The Athletic's Bruce Feldman. He is the son of former NFL head coach Anthony Lynn and is only 35 years old. He has quickly made a name for himself in the coaching world. Feldman noted that Lynn is already on the NFL's radar as a coordinator candidate and has extensive NFL experience from his time on staffs with the Baltimore Ravens, Houston Texans, Los Angeles Chargers, Buffalo Bills, and New York Jets. Lynn played college football at Penn State when undrafted in the 2012 NFL Draft. He spent time on the practice squad with both the New York Jets and Hamilton Tiger Cats before starting his coaching career with the Jets. In 2023, Lynn was named UCLA's defensive coordinator. During his lone year with the Bruins, he made a big impact with the Bruins in his one season there. Lynn would then join USC's coaching staff as their defensive coordinator and has turned that defense around. In 2023, the Trojans allowed 432.8 yards per game, while the team improved to 377.1 yards per game allowed last season. In Lynn's first year, is allowing 319.3 yards per game and 16.7 points per game through 3 games in 2025. Feldman wrote, sources briefed on the Bruins' strategy said UCLA's most influential supporters connected to the football program think very highly of Lynn. His even-keeled personality, measured approach, and attention to detail have made a lot of folks big believers in him. One veteran coach told Feldman that he's just got the it factor. Tony White is another name to keep an eye on when it comes to the UCLA job. White played college football at UCLA and went undrafted during the 2002 NFL Draft. He went on to spend time with the Buffalo Bills, Calgary Stampeders, Ottawa Renegades, and Hamilton Tiger Cats before beginning his coaching career at St. Genevieve High School in California. White then became a grad assistant for UCLA in 2007, before becoming an assistant for New Mexico in 2008. He served as an assistant for San Diego State and Arizona State, before being promoted to defensive coordinator for the Sun Devils in 2019. He has since served as the defensive coordinator for Syracuse, Nebraska, and Florida State. White was in the mix for the UCLA job 2 years ago when it went to Foster instead. He is a protege of Rocky Long and has a ton of experience in the Southern California area, while also becoming one of the best defensive coordinators in the nation. In Week 1, his defense held Alabama to 87 rushing yards, and they only allowed 254 passing yards in their 31-17 upset win of the Tide. If Lynn is not interested, White could be the next name to watch. Now that we have talked through some of the more realistic options, let's go over some of the crazier options. Dave Aranda is consistently linked to open jobs when it comes to Southern California. When the USC job was open a few years back, Aranda was viewed as one of the top candidates. Now that UCLA has become open, his name is back in the news for the job. Aranda has had an up and down tenure at Baylor, but I do not see him leaving the Bears for UCLA unless the season falls apart for Baylor. UCLA is now in the Big Ten, and the job is a brutal one. While the Rose Bowl is an amazing stadium, it is so far away from campus, and it's hard to draw a decent crowd. With what Aranda has at Baylor, it's hard to see him leave that to return home to rebuild a UCLA program in shambles and not having a ton of NIL money support. It would be extremely ironic for UCLA to hire Jason Eck, the man who basically got Foster fired after New Mexico's dismantling of UCLA this past weekend. While Eck is originally from Wisconsin and spent most of his coaching career in the Midwest, with stops at Wisconsin, Colorado, Idaho, Winona State, Ball State, Hampton, Western Illinois, Minnesota State, and South Dakota State, or being named head coach at Idaho in 2022, he did turn around the Vandals program, leading them to 3 straight appearances in the FCS playoffs and 2 quarterfinal appearances. He went 26-13 at the school that had not had a ton of success before his arrival, reviving the program in the Kibbe Dome. Eck took over a New Mexico program that had a lot of its roster gutted from the transfer portal when Bronco Mendenhall left for Utah State, yet he was able to build the roster up and has the Lobos sitting at 2-1 with a dominant win over UCLA this past weekend. Their lone loss this season was a hard-fought loss to Michigan, with their other win coming against Idaho State. Eck has a proven track record as a program builder, but is it too early to jump to the Power 4 level? Is UCLA the right job for him? If Luke Fickell flames out at Wisconsin this season, a lot of Badger fans want to see Eck return home. Eck may wait and see what happens in Madison and would have only taken the New Mexico job if he was happy to be there for a few seasons. Tosh Lupoy is from Walnut Creek, California, and played college football at Cal, where he also started his coaching career. He then served as an assistant for Washington before joining Alabama's staff in 2014, rising up the ranks until being named defensive coordinator in 2018. In 2019, he was a defensive line coach for the Cleveland Browns, followed that up by serving in the same role for the Atlanta Falcons and Jacksonville Jaguars. In 2022, he was named Oregon's defensive coordinator. Lupoy developed and worked with first-round NFL draft picks at Alabama like defensive end Jonathan Allen, linebacker Reuben Foster, safety Minkah Fitzpatrick, nose tackle Darian Payne, and linebacker Rashaan Evans. He's a fantastic recruiter and has learned from Nick Saban and Dan Lanning. So far this season, his defense is only allowing 10 points per game, and they allowed only 3 points against Oklahoma State in Week 2. Lupoy could be a great hire for UCLA, as he recruits California at such a high level. Current Cleveland Browns offense coordinator Tommy Rees could be an interesting coaching candidate to look at. Rees played college football at Notre Dame and was on the Washington Commanders practice squad. He started his coaching career as a grad assistant for Northwestern before serving as an assistant for the San Diego Chargers and Notre Dame before being named offensive coordinator for Notre Dame in 2020. In 2023, he took the Alabama offensive coordinator job, or being named the passing game specialist and tight ends coach for the Browns in 2024. In 2025, he would be promoted to the Browns offensive coordinator position. Rees has a family connection to UCLA as his dad was a longtime assistant for the Bruins. He tried to get in at UCLA 2 years ago, but the Bruins weren't interested in him at the time. The issue is the NFL calendar would not line up with what UCLA would need from a coach, though the way the Browns look this year, that may not turn out to be an issue. Spencer Danielson is from Southern California and played college football at San Diego and Azusa Pacific. He also began his coaching career at Azusa Pacific as a grad assistant before being named the linebacker coach in 2014. In 2017, he became a grad assistant at Boise State and worked his way up the ladder until being named head coach in 2023. Since taking over the Broncos football program, Danielson is 16-4 and has led Boise State to back-to-back Mountain West Conference championships. He turned the 2023 Boise State season around when he was named interim head coach for Andy Avalos, which led to him becoming the permanent head coach and led the Broncos to the college football playoffs last season. Danielson has had a short head coaching career, has been carried by Ashton Genty, and could turn Boise State into a Group of 5 powerhouse with a much easier path to the college football playoffs. And also wait and see what other jobs become open if he wants to leave Boise State. Jonathan Smith is from Pasadena, California, and found so much success at his alma mater, Oregon State, or jumping to Michigan State. Before arriving at Michigan State, Smith spent most of his career in the Pacific Northwest, serving as a GA for Oregon State and assistant for Idaho, Montana, and Boise State before being named Washington's offensive coordinator in 2013. In 2018, he was named Oregon State's head coach, going 34-35, leading the Beavers to a 10-win season in 2022 and 3 straight bowl games. Last year, things did not go great for Smith in year 1 at Michigan State, as they would go 5-7. This year, they have started the season 3-0, though they beat Western Michigan, barely beat a Boston College team that just lost to Stanford at home, and beat Youngstown State. This weekend will be their first major test to see if this team has actually improved compared to last year. The only reason I see Smith jumping to UCLA is if he wants to return to the West Coast, if he thinks there are better resources at UCLA, and it would be easier to recruit there compared to Michigan State. Whenever there's a Power 4 job, PJ Fleck's name always ends up on the list of possible candidates. A few years back, he was on the list of candidates for the USC job, among others. Fleck, as tough as it is to admit, has done an amazing job at Minnesota. Sorry, I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. I've never understood why he gets linked to so many of the West Coast jobs, except for the fact that he played for the 49ers for 2 seasons. Fleck is from Illinois, attended NIU, and mainly coached in the Midwest as a GA for Ohio State, an assistant for NIU before spending 2 years as a wide receivers coach for Rutgers, held the same role with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2012. In 2013, he was named Western Michigan's head coach, as he turned around a program that went 1-11 his first season and 13-1 in his last season, leading the Broncos to the MAC Conference title and a Cotton Bowl appearance. He led Western to 3 bowl games and went 30-22 before being named Minnesota's head coach. Since taking over at Minnesota, he has gone 16-40, having an 11-win season in 2019 and 2 9-win seasons in 2021 and 2022. He's led the Gophers to 6 bowl games, winning all of them, and at this rate, if he stays at Minnesota, they're going to build a statue for him. So why would he ever leave for UCLA? Sports Illustrated writes Fleck has been in the mix for similar jobs in the past, would be the kind of coach and program seller that UCLA could use. Could use the type of energetic salesman that could break through in the market like LA. I think UCLA would want PJ Fleck more than Fleck would want to leave for UCLA. Kalani Sitake is another person I just don't see leaving their current school for another job. Sitake played fullback at BYU and with the Cincinnati Bengals and has spent his coaching career at Eastern Arizona, BYU, Southern Utah, and Oregon State before being named BYU's head coach in 2016. Since taking over as head coach, Sitake has gone 74-43 and led the Cougars to 3 double-digit winning seasons, 7 bowl games, and they're coming off an 11-2 record from last season, one of the top quarterback recruits from this class committed to them. I do not see Sitake leaving for UCLA. The only reason I bring him up is because Bruce Feldman brought him up in his article. Even Bruce doesn't think it's a likely move. Other names to watch for the job could be Bronco Mendenhall at Utah State, Dan Mullen at UNLV, Ryan Silverfield at Memphis, and offense coordinator Will Stein at Oregon. What do you think? Who should UCLA hire to be their next head coach? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.